There is no bigger story than the fact that this afternoon, Donald J. Trump was convicted of not one crime, not two crimes, 34 crimes. You know what? Y'all hear them laugh. I always just bring them in now, right? I got some dope people here with me to help me make sense of this. I'm going to join, first of all, Rebecca Azor. She is she has her own show. You see her on the Hill. She's a political analyst. She is part of the left-wing mafia. She says she is part of a movement of just brilliant, extraordinary sisters who help us break down some of the most important ideas going on in the world. And the man at the bottom of the screen, you know him as well. His name is Kwame Jackson. He is an entrepreneur. He's a diversity expert, and he was on the first season of The Apprentice, and he had some very interesting and engaging interactions with somebody who turned out to be a convicted felon.
We all know him, right? We all know some people in locked up.
We all know some. Look, no shame.
I like this.
Look, that's how it is. You just didn't think it'd be your president. Now, people are accusing me already. They're already accusing me of celebrating and being what's the word? Classless. You know, and I don't see it that way.
As he sips his Ripple, as he sips his Sanford and Son Ripple.
It's rosé, man. It's rosé. I broke out the good stuff for Donald J. Trump.
Oh, because it's a celebration. Clap, clap, bravo.
He's celebrating, you know. But in all seriousness, and I am serious, I am celebrating this. Before I actually celebrate, let me tell y'all what actually happened in case you've been living in a bubble. Donald J. Trump was convicted on Thursday, today, of falsifying records to cover up a sex scandal that threatened to derail his 2016 presidential campaign. The jury found that Donald Trump actually faked records to conceal the purpose of money that he gave to Michael Cohen, who was a key witness in all of this, right, to help fix a problem. Problem, of course, was Stormy Daniels. And here's why it's interesting. It's not illegal to give somebody money to not tell their story. Or you can buy their life rights. You can give them an NDA. It's the fact of how he hid the money to hide the fact that he did not want a porn star's story of him having sex with her to be out in the public. So it's the way they hid the $130,000 hush money deal that made this the thing. Now, to be clear, the felony conviction, and he was convicted 34 counts, calls for a sentence of, you could get a fine, but up to 4 years behind bars. He could get probation. He could get this, he could get that, or he could get up to 4 years per count. Now, it would be almost unimaginable that Donald Trump would get concurrent sentences. That is to say, he ain't going to get 144 years or whatever it would be. I ain't that good at math, but it's more likely he'll get a fine or probation up to the 4 years. That's the most likely thing. And, you know, I'm an abolitionist. I don't support using the criminal legal system in this way. I don't think this is the way we should adjudicate harm. I'm not even convinced that he deserves to be in prison. If I did, it wouldn't be for this. He got a laundry list of shit he did. This wouldn't be the thing to me that should get him in prison. However, sometimes, you know, sometimes you bite the bear, sometimes the bear bites you. You know, sometimes you the windshield wiper, sometimes you know what I mean, you the fly. And it just hit him. He's the bug today. So anyway, that's my short take. Is, you know, I want to break it down, talk about what it means, what the consequences are of all of this. Mm-hmm. But before we get to that, I want to get y'all take. Kwame, you've known him the longest. Mm-hmm. What was your reaction when you saw and heard this?
Well, I don't know if you remember the scene from Glory where they said, "Oh my Lord, 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 Lord." Whoa, waking up tomorrow. We got to charge this. That was my reaction. It was Morgan Freeman talking to Denzel Washington saying, "Oh my Lord, 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 tomorrow we're going to go fight the Confederates." And I just felt as though it was a moment for Black people. It was a George Floyd style verdict where we finally saw the justice system working on our behalf. Okay. And to see things that I've been preaching on since 2015, when people thought I was just being hyperbolic and crazy and, you know, oh, this guy's just mad because he didn't win The Apprentice. It was like all those things that I've said over and over again on multiple media hits have come true. It is the content of his character, and now it's time for us to judge that. And it's just great to see that that was made possible.
That is an important point. There's a sense, even when you use this kind of slave analogy, there's a way that we finally felt that somebody who has played above the rules, somebody who has flaunted his power, somebody who has ignored the vulnerable, was finally being held accountable, Rebecca. I mean, them 12 people in that jury box, it might be the cable guy, it might be the cashier at the local store, might be your auntie, might have been Rebecca for all I know.
It might have been.
That's right.
It might have been. Here's the thing. It's great to celebrate. What we're celebrating is the fact that Trump, there's a guilty verdict for Trump that we never thought we would have at some, because he walks around as if he's untouchable. And so we can celebrate that the law was on the right side of it today. That, again, where were we? This is one of those moments. Where were you when you heard the verdict? Now, I was not aware, like we were all talking about earlier. We were not aware. I wasn't ready for it. I thought they were, they got together, they're ready to go home, and we probably were going to get something on tomorrow. But yet it came like immediately. I was like, wait, hold up. All of these, I'm getting text. I'm like, oh my goodness. And then they were like, it's coming out. And then 2 seconds, here it is. I'm like, oh, wow, guilty. 34 one. And they all were like, yes, it's all, all counts guilty. That's what I think that we're celebrating. People are like, you're celebrating jail. No, we don't. We're Black. Like a lot of us, look, we know the system. We know how it works. So to see somebody like Trump, at least we know he may not be going in. Come on, let's be for real. But we do understand that, okay, at least they were on the right side of it this time with the guilty verdict. And it's great that we got that. At least that's like a step somewhere.
Let me play a little devil's advocate, though, because I always get worried when unfair things happen to terrible people, because I feel like those unfair things are going to happen to good people and vulnerable people 10 times more. So I remember when the Freddie Gray thing was happening and they were celebrating, people were celebrating that they were calling for $1 million bail, $10 million bail for the cop. And I'm like, that's not how bail should be used. And if a cop gets $1 million bail or $10 million bail, then what's your cousin going to get? What's your auntie going to get? And there'll be a lot more of them than there will be cops going to jail. So part of what I wonder is, will we start? I don't want to see witch hunts. Donald Trump has done a million things that are illegal. And I think the voter fraud stuff in Georgia is far more interesting and compelling a case than him paying a porn star for her life rights. And this feels like bad accounting. He definitely did it. He's guilty.
He did it.
I just don't know if we start pulling that thread, what that means. I mean, is there any part of you that's like, this wasn't the one to get him on?
But that was, remember, it was in furtherance of interfering with the election. So just don't look at the payment to the porn star. Don't look at the tawdry details and the grime and the sex, blah blah blah. Like, look at the fact that he did all of this so that this dirt would not come out, therefore changing the course of the election. So it was major if you think about it that way.
That's an important point.
Yeah. No, it is. No, and for me, we gotta call a thing a thing. I always say this because at the same time, like that is, we can point that out. And Kwame, I love that point that you brought up too. He did all of this so that he wouldn't be looked at as somebody who wasn't pristine. He doesn't fit. He couldn't be a great president. Let's be for real, right? Say this was 2007, all that, Barack Obama running, all these things, and then next thing you know, some of this stuff that he needed to hide or stuff was coming out and criminal things, all of the above. They would say, hell no, he's a criminal. Like
we can't get the nomination.
Not all of it. It would be terrible, 10 times worse. So seeing this for Donald Trump, we probably won't get much out of it. As I told you, Mark, he might appeal this thing all the way up until he dies.
You already know.
And that's it.
That's an important point. I'm looking at this picture of Donald Trump. This is after the conviction.
Yeah.
He could have taken the underground tunnel.
No.
He could have done a lot. He could have not been seen.
That's not how he rolls.
It's the opposite of how he rolls. But people really care about this. Look at these people.
But it's three people. It's three people. Come on now. It's not like the masses are
it's behind them too. And it's embarrassing to know it's people that look like us in that crowd as well. They've been in these streets and they've been rocking them ugly ass shoes. They've been really out here saying, you know, we gonna ride for him. He's a felon like me. That's what we've been saying. That's the other side of the conversation that I've been seeing online. It's really stupid. I know I just seen the tweet from Academics, who we know has his case lingering himself. You know, and he's just pointing out, he's talking about, you know, I can't wait. He might be the only president we have. I can't wait to vote for him. Makes me want to vote for him more. He might be the only president that we have that's on house arrest. And that's why I love him. Ignorance. But this is what Donald Trump likes when he comes out here. He makes his statements. He never once apologized to his wife, nothing like that. We're not going to see any sentiments here from him for anybody. What we're going to see more is somebody who loves entertainment, and he loves to gravitate towards that. So being seen is just what we will see of him, just like this. And people are dumb.
I was just gonna say, with those kind of black folk though, Rebecca, think about it in the real. It's the old quote of never argue with somebody that Harriet Tubman would have shot. Everybody's not trying to be saved. Everybody's not trying to be free. Everybody's not trying to run away, steal away in the night and go through the swamp and try to go north and follow the North Star. Everybody's not down with that. So it's like people like that, I'm not even trying to save them and bring them into our camp.
Yeah.
Let them wear their gold shoes and do their thing.
Here's my worry. My worry is that some of them people, when they came out and saw Donald Trump, when they watched him out here standing there waving to his fans, being himself, whatever that is, right? There's a way that that Donald Trump is organizing. It's not just vanity. It's not just ego. When he stands out there and makes that wave, Donald Trump is reminding people that he is a political player. His donations went to the roof.
I still got juice. Yeah.
And
got juice, and it's a signal. It's the bat signal.
It's a bat signal. I mean, his donations went through the roof after the conviction. Anybody who likes Donald Trump is not persuaded by this guilty verdict. They're not angered by, they're angered by it. They're not angered against him. They're not turned against him. They're like, all right, they're really out to get him. Is there any danger that as long as he doesn't go to jail, that this actually makes him more likely to be president?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I would say yes, because first of all, he ain't going to jail. You know, I would love to sing that
you don't
song.
See it happening. You don't see him going to jail?
No, I don't see him. No, well, he's not. I don't see it. Not. I'm literally Ray Charles, Stevie Wonder to this whole thing. He's him going to jail. Can't see it. Okay. And with that, like we have to understand that he's bypassed so much thus far. And it's not that he's untouchable. He just gets away with a lot. And he knows that. So that, like you said, is a bat signal. He comes out there and it's almost like, hey, they tried to get me. Y'all see what they trying to do to me. And I'm just like you, a felon. They trying to put me in the system. They don't like us. And the black people are hearing us. That's us. He's talking to us. And the people want to be relatable. They're like, he's such a good man. And look what he's done for our country. And they're trying to get him in. They don't want him to be president, but you don't have to, as a felon, you can still be president. That's the weird thing about America. You can still be president, but you can't vote. It affects how your access to jobs, restricts some healthcare in some cases, housing. You can't get an apartment or all of these things are in place, but yet you can be president. And Donald Trump is an example of somebody who can be running for president.
And here's another crazy one to add to that, Rebecca, is you cannot join the military if you're a felon, yet you can be commander in chief of the military as a felon. So think about that. Think about that. That's like
that's mind-boggling. And I guess I think about Trump's legacy. He's so legacy-minded. He wants to be the president that did this, the president that did that. He is the first U.S. president to be convicted of a felony. That's probably not the first that he wanted. But the fact of the matter is, for those that need to know, like, he can still be president, right? There's nothing in the Constitution that prevents someone with a felony conviction.
But wouldn't it be interesting though? Let's say, God forbid, he does become president. How can you be in charge of the military if you can't be in the military and have a felony? So you're going to be president, but you have no military control. But they're going to change that rule too.
Well, look, he wasn't in the military before that. He had bone spurs, right? He was ducking more fights than Floyd in his prime. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
It don't even matter. But your point's well taken. You know,
They'll find a way. They'll find a way.
They will find a way. But people are outraged. We also got to talk about Alvin Bragg real quick. He's the Manhattan District Attorney. He thanked the jury, for
tremendous brother.
Oh my God,
tremendous brother. Strivers Row, Harlem. Look, I found out today that I was actually I was at Harvard Business School and he was at Harvard Law School. He finished in 99. I finished in 2000. And we used to go party with the law school back and forth in Boston. I was like, I was probably in a party with Alvin Bragg.
I know that man.
Doing all kind of good stuff. And to see him make history the way he did, man, that was a Jackie Robinson moment.
Yo, black folk, from Letitia James to Bragg, there is some very interesting stuff happening that's historically consistent. Black folks seem to always be the people that end up keeping America in line, holding Black America in check, making democracy advance. And I don't want to romanticize America or democracy or the criminal legal system here, but there is something satisfying about watching. Even as the jury was leaving, Bragg is thanking them for their service. Donald Trump is scowling at the jury, trying to intimidate them. Mm-hmm. And it don't matter that they're not rich and famous, they're not billionaires, whatever. Doesn't matter. They had control, and he hates every minute of it. And as soon as it was over, of course, he says the whole thing was rigged. Right? Yeah. He starts talking about how the whole thing was fake. Same thing he says when he loses an election. I just got joy, even for a moment.
It was the whole soundtrack of racism, is what I call it. I wrote it down. He said it was rigged. It was a disgrace. It was Soros backed. It was, migrants coming across the border. All those things are his little thriller, beat it, soundtrack to racism that he just says over and over again. And just because you can say, superfralicagilistic expialidocious doesn't mean that's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like you throw out the word and then all of a sudden some magic stuff is going to happen. He just feels like if I say these words over and over again, I can lure my people like the Pied Piper into believing a new reality.
Yeah. But they do. But that's the thing. They do. And while he says these things, witch hunt, they were after me. Let's blame it on Black Lives Matter. Let's blame it on the migrants over water. We got to build that wall. Remember what I told you.
Make white people mad.
That's it.
And Black Lives Matter.
And they'll take it. It was them. It was them. They were the cause. They're the reason why a lot of you guys couldn't see how we were about this country on January 1st. These are the people that try to stop us from really becoming, at the top of our game here in America and making it change. I'm the one that will do that for you. That's what they're hearing. They're toothless. They don't got no insurance. They live in the backwoods. But this man and all what he's saying, right, is Bible.
Speaking their language. He's speaking their language.
Speaking their language. So play this out for me, y'all. So I already heard you say, Rebecca, you don't think he does a day of jail time. Kwame, do you say the same thing?
I think house arrest, and I think maybe up to 18 months. And a good barometer for that is the recent district attorney, I forgot her name, but the Black female in Baltimore who got wrongly
convicted. Marilyn Mosby. Yeah.
Marilyn Mosby. I'm sorry. So Marilyn Mosby, who got wrongly convicted, now has house arrest for 12 months for similar financial crimes. And then this is similar to what Donald Trump has done. So it's a possibility. And I know we're talking about Baltimore. I know we're talking about a Black woman. Mm-hmm. But if we want to say, things are the same, things are the same.
No, that's fair.
They're the same, but the things ain't the same.
Yeah. But that probably plays in Donald Trump's favor, though, right? Because if a Black woman didn't get prison time, a white man damn sure ain't.
Oh, yeah. But I would be happy with 12 months of house arrest. Think about how that involves the election.
Right. We're moving forward with something. We got guilty. And then they put something on his little ankle. And they let us know everywhere he go, you guilty.
I'm looking for that ankle piece. Right. That ankle piece is gonna be the joint.
If you got an ankle bracelet, it's a wrap. I will have jokes on jokes on jokes.
Really. But I don't know that okay, there's something happening here. But again, I believe that he will appeal, stretch this thing out. He will make sure that he's continuing his campaigning and probably secure a seat in the White House. God forbid, like you said, but it just, he knows how to entertain people. He knows how to grab them in and make them relate. Unfortunately, some of your favorite rappers have sat down in interviews and the only thing that they can say about Donald Trump is, he gave me a little check back when COVID was in, and that's why I love he gave me a little check, and that's all they can understand about Donald Trump, and that's why they would support him. And then now he got a charge, so they're like, that's why we can relate.
Street cred. Now he got street cred.
Help me understand this, Kwame, because you are a black man, and it's our demo, unfortunately, that's lowering the curve here.
That's slipping.
It's slipping, man. Why do you find that black men in particular find Donald Trump so compelling? I meet black men on, usually it's online, in debates who say, you know, Donald Trump is our guy, or we want Donald Trump, or he's not perfect, but he's the best choice we have. Why?
I see two things, and I'm not accepting the rationale and all, but I'm talking barbershop talk. I'm talking about, you know, just like you said, people online, etc. One is machismo. Like, brothers love to see somebody go hard, you know, just give it to people. DMX cash just you know, off top, just for no reason. They love to see that kind of energy, you know, that Rough Rider energy. And then two, they like to see, a lot of brothers are all about their pockets. They're all about finance. And so it's like, if it doesn't make dollars, it doesn't make sense. And as long as Trump is like giving me a lower tax rate, as long as Trump is making sure that, you know, I have a higher salary, or my company doesn't move here, my company doesn't move there, I got a good job. It's like brothers will like put everything else to the side and allow somebody to come into the door that, you know, fundamentally doesn't respect us in any way.
They're not educating themselves, to me, and it's not, you know, and it sucks that it's the brothers that's at the, you know, at the top of the game with that, but they're not educating themselves. You know, you got that money, but where is it? Like, what else is it hurting? Where else is it going to show up in your life in a few years where you may either have to pay that back? What does that look like for you? They're not educating themselves. They're just looking at right now, I got a couple of dollars. That's my president. Like, they're not looking at anything else.
I wish. I mean, I agree with everything y'all said, but I wish that were the only thing that's making people vote. If people said, look, taxes, money, I get it, right? I mean, when tax season come, I ain't gonna hold you. Like, it's times I'll be like, I get it. You know, like,
right.
I'm tired of paying some of these taxes, right? I pay them because I think it's the right thing to do, but you know, I get the frustration. I understand that some policies will make some people, will frame people as rich when they're really middle class, or people don't understand, if you live in New York City, you know, what income level you need to have to just pay bills and have a modicum of a decent lifestyle. It's different than in the flyover state, right? And so, you know, I remember under the Obama administration, you know, I think it was anything over 250. They said we're only taxing the wealthy, the middle class and the poor don't get anything. But if you make more than 250, your taxes went up. So there's a person in New York City who makes $280,000 with 3 kids. That's like, what do you want me to do? My rent is at the time $4,000 a month. Now it's probably $6,000 a month to live in a 3-bedroom apartment.
Yeah.
And so this is the crisis, right? So I get the frustration. I get saying, you know what, Republicans get this money thing better. I don't agree with that, but I understand the logic at least. But my worry is that when I talk to black men, and other people, poor white people too. It's not just black men. I don't want to pathologize black men. Poor white men are doing the same thing. They look at Donald Trump and they see in him something that's not dollars and cents, something that's not nuts and bolts. It's more like Donald Trump represents freedom, a lack of connection to authority.
Yeah,
he is.
He represents. I'm gonna cut straight to. He represents BDE, bro.
Yes,
he represents BDE.
Ironically,
people like they feel that, and it's like, even though he doesn't have it, that's what he's like falsely representing the PS bravado.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. And so I remember when all this stuff was going on with Bill Cosby, and what I found was that people were saying, well, what about Harvey Weinstein, right? And my frustration with that was they weren't asking for Harvey Weinstein to be treated like Bill Cosby. They were asking for Bill Cosby to be treated like Harvey Weinstein, because our vision of liberation and freedom too often is to be as unaccountable, as harmful, as indifferent, as selfish, as narcissistic as white patriarchal men are.
The same way that we celebrated the OJ verdict.
Boom.
It wasn't that we all know that he killed her, but it was about, hey, if I have a good enough lawyer, I have enough money, I can kill somebody too.
The system worked for both people. So we got a black man with money. They tried to bring him down, but he beat the case, and that was the most exciting thing.
Yeah, and the murder just fell by the wayside.
Exactly. And that's the problem. And I think
that scares me, So when they see this white man jump up, if not guilty, y'all got to film. You know what I mean? If he walks up that joint, even though he's guilty, if he walks out and don't got to do no time, and he still get to be president.
People are looking at that like he beat a case. They can't wait. There's gonna be some raps about it. There's people who are like attaching themselves to him because of this. And he said this. He said the Black Americans or the Blacks love me because I got a case. My numbers are going up because, you know, I got this criminal charge coming up. And I got that. He said that's what he said that. And people were like, you know, it does make him relatable. I've literally heard conversations from people that I know and love. Beautiful Black men, beautiful Black sisters. They will sit there and be like, you know what? It's true. Like, he's really challenging the system and he's doing that for us. And I'm like,
and that's the thing. Part of our pathology is the fact that we think that to catch a case makes you relatable, right? Like why is it that in our culture we think, you know, kind of going through the criminal justice system or committing a crime and then beating it is like something that makes you relate? Why is that a badge of honor? That's a bigger pathology for us.
You know, I struggle with that because there is a way that if you feel like we're getting locked up wrongfully and we're being mistreated all the time in the criminal legal system,
true.
You know, then part of the beating the case is not
they didn't bring me down.
It's like for once I got to beat the system when I shouldn't. So but it's a balancing act, right? Because sometimes the free Pookie t-shirts is like, yeah, Pookie did it. You know that nigga did it, right? So I do struggle with that. Speaking of which, y'all, in case you came in late, we are here. If you see me wondering what's in this bottle, this is rosé. And I don't drink often, but Donald J. Trump is doing it. He got the conviction. And again, I'm an abolitionist. I don't support the criminal legal system in its current form or in any form. Really, I think we can do better than that. We need restoration. But again, if there's 1 million people in jail, I want 999,999 of them free.
Hey, and I'm happy to see Donald Trump doing some restorative justice. Like if he's going to do 1,000 hours teaching kids to read in the inner city,
and he's not,
that would be great.
He's not. He's
That'd
not.
be more punishment for him if he had to be around that many Black people.
That's
and you gotta read. Oh shit.
Oh, it's, you know, he's gonna hold it upside down. Ain't nothing he can do now.